Chapter 4 of Stories from God's Holy Book by Josephine Looney. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Noah's Ark. I went to the animal fair, the birds and beasts were there. The gay baboon by the light of the moon was combing his auburn hair. Bobby was sitting on the floor making a parade with the animals from his toy Noah's Ark. Patricia was standing on a stool waving a giraffe in one hand and a monkey in the other while she sang The Animal Fair. Bobby wanted the giraffe and monkey for his parade, but Patricia just laughed and held them high above her head. At this moment Joe came into the room. She saw what was going on. She gently shook her head at Patricia. Patricia at once handed the giraffe and monkey to Bobby. She looked rather ashamed of herself. "I know a good story about animals," remarked Joe, "but I need Patricia's stool for a mountain." Patricia felt happy again. Joe wasn't angry with her for teasing Bobby, and they were going to hear another story. She pushed the stool over to Joe and sat down beside her on the floor. "What are you going to put on the mountain?" she asked eagerly. "Noah's Ark," answered Joe, "and the name of the mountain is Mount Ararat." Bobby spoke up. "Those don't go on mountains, they go on water." "This one went on a mountain," Joe replied. "It was the first ark. It was built a long time ago by a man named Noah. It was very large and 3 stories high. In the upper part there was a window. In the side there was a door." "Why did Noah build a boat 3 stories high?" inquired Bobby. "I will tell you," answered Joe. "It was hundreds of years after Adam and Eve had been driven out of Eden. The people in the world had grown very bad. They had forgotten about God. They didn't say their prayers. They stole things and quarreled and killed one another. God decided to send a terrible flood to cover the earth and destroy everyone, all but the family of one man. He was the only good man left on earth. His name was Noah. God told Noah to build a houseboat where he and his family could live during the flood. That boat was called the Ark." "But why was it so big?" inquired Bobby. "Because it had to hold something besides people. Do you know what that was?" Joe looked at the toy animals as she spoke. "Animals?" asked Bobby. "Did Noah take animals too?" "That's just what he did. All living things outside the ark were going to be destroyed. So God told Noah to take in the ark a mother animal and a father animal of every kind on earth. When the flood was over, the mother and father animals would come out of the ark. They would have animal children, so animals would not be lost from the earth." "It must have taken Noah a long time to build an ark as big as that," said Bobby. "It did," agreed Joe, "and all the time he was working people laughed at him. But at last the ark was finished. Noah took his family and all the animals into the ark. Then God fastened the door on the outside." "Didn't Noah forget one single animal?" inquired Patricia. "Did he remember even the lizards and the fireflies?" Joe nodded in assent. "Then," she continued, "it began to rain. The sky was hidden by black storm clouds. The water poured down in torrents. The rivers broke through their banks and flooded all the lands. People climbed up in trees and on housetops. But the water rose and rose until it drowned everyone on earth. Only the ark floated safely on top of the foaming waves." "Didn't the rain ever stop?" Patricia asked. "After 40 days it stopped," answered Joe. "Each day after that the water sank lower and lower. 150 days passed. Every day Noah looked out of the window of the ark, but he could not see a bit of land. One day he opened the window and let out a raven. It never returned. Then he sent out a little dove, but it could not find a resting place, and so it came back to the ark. After a week he sent the dove out again. This time it came back carrying an olive branch in its mouth. That meant that it had found an olive tree growing on earth. Soon the ark came to rest on the top of a mountain. This was Mount Ararat. When the earth around it was dry, God opened the door. Then Noah and his family and all the animals came out. And the first thing Noah did was to thank God for having taken such good care of them." "What did God say then?" Patricia wanted to know. "God was very pleased with Noah. He promised that he would never send another flood to kill all the people on the earth. This was when God made the first rainbow. He put it in the sky as a sign of his promise." "That was nice," approved Patricia. "I guess he did that because he is the greatest friend of man. When I see a rainbow in the sky, I'll always think of the flood and remember God's promise." End of chapter 4.